McCrispy strips are now at McDonald's. Tender, juicy, and its own sauce. Would you look at that? Well, you can't see it, but trust me, it looks delicious. New McCrispy strips, now at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Are you ready to rock big savings? Rakuten's Big Give Week is a festival of savings with 15% cash back at hundreds of stores. We're talking 15% cash back at Expedia, Ray-Ban, Stanley, and more. Shoppers in the know get the best savings when they use Rakuten. They shop the brands they love and earn cash back on top of deals. Big Give Week is only once a year, and the cashback rates are through the roof. I'll be shopping for some new beauty products and home essentials while getting 15% cash back on it all. I get my cash back sent directly to my PayPal, and it feels so good whenever I see it hit my account. Join for free today and get a $20 welcome bonus. Hurry! Big Give Week ends May 12th, and there won't be an encore. Go to Rakuten.com or download the Rakuten app. That's Rakuten, Rakuten.com.
This is a HeadGum podcast. You got mail.
Hi, I'm Millie Tamaris.
And I'm Elise Morales.
And this is
Go Touch Grass,
the podcast where we log in
so you can log off.
Elise and I are two chronically online comedians, and on this pod, we break down the week in internet discourse, viral memes, TikTok trends, and niche influencer drama so that you can literally do anything else.
Anything else. And if you like what you hear today and you want to hear more, we have a Go Touch Grass Patreon up and running with a ton more content weekly and our spinoff series, Search History, where we break down a viral discourse from the past. Our most recent episode on the Patreon is about the origins of the term Kaya, which is a very, very online phrase for a pop girly who's like not quite making it.
Yeah.
She's making it a little.
Yeah.
But she's not where she, at the Britney Spears level, she clearly aspires to be.
And you know, one of my favorite parts of that Patreon is when I asked Elise, who was explaining this, I said, Elise, do you think me and you are the Kayas of comedy? And not even a beat. She said yes. So if you want to know more about that term, you can listen to our Patreon, and don't forget to leave us a 5-star rating and review. We love your reviews.
We do.
We need more of them,
We do.
please. And the best review you can do is to tell your friends. Tag us in a story. We'll repost it. You know we're online.
Speaking of us being online, we have YouTube episodes that go up every week. Our audio is up every Wednesday, but on our YouTube, you can see extra moments that we cut out for time, behind the scenes looks of things that didn't translate to audio.
Yeah.
So I took them out. Millie puts the videos in so you can see. I'll just say right now, there's going to be videos played today on this episode. You can see it all live on our YouTube.
And a huge thank you to everyone who came to our tea party this Saturday. It was so much fun. We had people that traveled from California, Buffalo,
amazing.
Virginia, all over Connecticut,
Florida.
to come see Florida. To come see us, and it was so great. We had the greatest time. The drag queen, Sissy Bloom, was perfect. And I do want to let you know it was a lot of work.
Yes.
And we did a lot, but and to celebrate, I will say, transparently, I did go to Bathhouse, the Bitcoin worm spa.
Millie went to Bitcoin spa.
And I will say that since all of the bad press, they've lowered their ticket prices from $110 to $60. And it is well worth it. It's a $60 experience for sure. Definitely get there. Wear your florals. Go to Bathhouse. I had a great time.
And I will say, Millie, you're looking relaxed. Her pores are cleansed from the Bitcoin heat.
It's the Bitcoin heat. It's the heat that's mining. And guess what? It gets hot in there. It gets 170 degrees, baby.
Speaking of someone who's bringing the heat.
Yes.
We have an amazing guest in studio today. An actress, a comedian, a writer, the host of T4T Comedy, and the host of the new popular YouTube show Going Down. It's Ellie Yurman.
Hi.
Wow, welcome.
Ella.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you.
We're
Thank
excited
you.
to have you. Millie's usually in charge of our transition moments,
Oh,
but
yeah,
I feel like bringing the heat was good.
You nailed
Bringing
that.
the heat was
Yeah, that was
good.
really good.
Thank you.
Bringing the heat was good because I put speaking of a great time, but you said bringing the heat. And that one was
Because we didn't know we were going to talk about the heat of the Bitcoin spa.
We didn't.
We had to have that on the fly.
I'm just saying for $60, I told my cousin, I'm like, the tickets are $60. Pee a lot. Anytime you even feel like you have to pee a little bit, just pee
a lot.
because you don't want a UTI. Speaking of UTIs, Ella, talk to us about Going Down. It seems like it's a late night show created and made by mostly queer people. Talk to us about what's missing from our late night landscape that Going Down brings.
Yeah, I think that's a really great point. I mean, when we started working on Going Down and its predecessor, Late Stage Live, which we did all last year, one of the questions we had going into it was, is there an audience for late night? Late night is dying. People don't seem to really want to watch it. People aren't watching it on TV. Those clips get views on YouTube, but nobody cares about the Jimmies.
Nobody cares about the Jimmies.
Is there a space?
I'm sorry, I do need to clarify that we do care about the Jimmies as in the high school version
musical
of the
theater
Tonys
awards.
for musical
Absolutely.
theater children. We do care about those.
We do care about
Jimmies.
those.
That's not the royal we. That's literally just Elise and Ella because I do not give a fuck.
Millie, I think if I showed you some of these performances, you would be floored.
Those kids, they got pipes.
Those kids have pipes.
I'm
Kids
sorry.
have pipes.
I'm not going to repeat that.
The gender flipped Maria from West Side Story last year.
Exactly. There are comedians in the scene who were Jimmy Award nominees.
Yes.
Esther Fallick was, in fact, at the Jimmy Awards when she was in high school many years ago.
Wow.
Back to comedy and why we're here.
Right.
Speaking of gender flipped Maria from the West Side
speaking of
Story.
gender flip, no one cares about the Jimmies, but do they care about the Ellas?
Do they care about the Ellas? Well, so I've been like a comedian and a political writer for many years, and I write for a show called Some More News on YouTube, which is a like video essay political comedy show hosted by Cody Johnston.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be a Cracked show, and then when Cracked dissolved, it sort of went independent. And so I've been in that kind of space for a long time, and I eventually decided that as much as I love working for Some More News, I wanted to be able to be on camera and performing, and also I wanted a chance to really focus in on trans and queer news and the politics around that. And so I reached out to Reed Pope, my head writer, and some of our writers, and we started slowly building it. But in all of that pre-production, we really weren't sure if it was going to be anything because late night is such an outdated format, and we weren't sure if it was going to interest people. But the response has been so overwhelmingly positive, and people are so excited about it that what that tells me about late night is that the format isn't broken.
Yeah.
It's the hosts and the content is that people are tired of seeing the same 4 or 5 old white guys talk to the same celebrities and like refuse to take a stance on anything.
Absolutely.
And by virtue of being on public access and YouTube, we are able to say whatever we want. There's no corporation sort of limiting our political speech. So we get to be very loudly anti-corporation, very loudly pro-queer and trans, very pro-Palestine. We are able to make jokes that I think a network wouldn't let us make. And I think that freedom really speaks to a generation of people who are tired of sort of the milieu of white guy comedy that is out there, but are still interested in sort of the format of someone sitting at a desk, making fun of the news, and then interviewing interesting people.
Yeah.
Totally. And I feel like there's something you guys are also doing aesthetically to set yourself apart. Like, again, the look of the Jimmies is so super polished. They're in a suit.
The Jimmies, again, being late night.
Being the late night Jimmies.
Not the Musical Theater Awards.
Not the Musical Theater Awards, which look amazing every year.
But the look of the late night shows.
The look of the late night Jimmies.
I feel like that annoying girl in Princess Diaries are like, I don't want to talk about hair. I want to talk about Voltaire.
No, I agree with you, though. I mean, part of that is a product of we just don't have a budget. So we're working in
they're broke. They would love to
broke.
look like the Jimmies.
We're so broke. We work in a community like TV studio. So we
Brooklyn
load
Public
in
Access.
Brooklyn Public Access, BRIC, BRIC. They're amazing. You can take a certification course there and just use their equipment for free. So we're loading in our set every single month. The desk like breaks down into 5 different parts, and we screw it together every month. We're loading in all of our own lights. We're loading in the backdrop, which we hang on stands. So part of the look is just by necessity we are doing it low budget. Yeah. But then even as we've grown and gotten a little tiny bit of money and have been able to afford some upgrades, we really want to, I think, keep the sort of grungy, like CRT old aesthetic. And
it has like a 90s public access, a Wayne's World energy, if you will.
I mean, like trans and queer politics feels so punk, especially right now, given the state of the world and everyone being angry at us all the time, that I think evoking that aesthetically has been a really exciting, especially with Going Down, as we've like sort of phoenixed out of Late Stage Live. We've
Yes.
been really
Yeah.
able to lean into the like janky 90s vibe.
Nice.
Totally. Okay, one more question about you and your work before we get into the episode. So a couple weeks ago, actually on the Bitcoin Spot episode, we had on our friend Katie Ruth Ashcraft, who wrote an article for The Guardian about nope babies, which are basically Nepo babies who come to prominence because they actually like eschew their famous father or mother. You interviewed one of our favorite nope babies, Miss Vivian Wilson, daughter of enemy of the pod Elon Musk. So
Shout out.
you interviewed her for Teen Vogue. How was that? How did you guys get connected? We love her here on the pod.
I'm a huge fan of her as well.
Yeah, I've been following her. I'm going to say when she only had like 10,000 followers, I'm like, this girl, she knows what she's doing. She knows how to post. And I wouldn't be surprised. I'm going to say 2-3 years, she's going to be on RuPaul's Drag Race.
I hope so. She
Oh,
deserves it. I know she wants it.
Yeah, she wants it, and I feel like she's going to do it.
Yes.
So, I've also been following her for a long time. Musk went on Jordan Peterson last summer and obviously like smeared her name every direction he possibly could. And she's like trans and in the political sphere, so I've been keeping an eye on her. And last year, I reached out to her via Instagram to see if she'd come on my show.
Yeah.
And she said no. She said that she didn't feel quite ready to do live comedy.
That makes sense, I guess.
But then I have a bunch of connections in the Teen Vogue office. I'm friends with Lex McMenamin, who's the politics editor, and I'm just through writing and various career stuff. And so I mentioned that I'd gotten in touch with her, and Lex said, you should ask her if she wants to do an article. We've been trying to get in touch with her and been unsuccessful. And maybe a profile in a real magazine is going to be more appealing than an interview in a janky DIY gay
She's
TV
going to
show.
work her way up there because she just went on Hassan Abi's YouTube.
No,
so
absolutely.
I believe that she will be on Going Down before Drag Race.
I don't know when this episode is coming
Wednesday.
out. But we're taping on Friday, and we'll see.
You heard it here first.
It's always
Preview.
breaking news.
I know we got the Kyle Gordon engagement news
Whoa.
because
Before
when
he proposed.
That's exciting.
he knew that he was proposing the day the episode came out, and now we have the exclusive Going Down tea.
That
maybe possible tea.
Well, we've got two very special guests planned. One of them is Vivian.
Wow,
assuming all goes well,
really
and the
exciting.
other one, I think I'm allowed to say this, is we're hoping to have Zoran Mamdani on the
Oh,
show.
my
that's
God.
good. That's a good booking.
Yeah,
that's a
For
good
anyone who
booking.
doesn't know, he's hopefully going to be the next mayor of
God,
New York.
please.
Please,
We
God,
booked
is gonna
him
be the next
months
mayor of
ago
New
when
York.
he was a lot smaller, and he's since now he's like on MJ Lenderman concerts and on Hasanabi as well. So it's like we just gotta hope that he doesn't decide between now and Friday that he's too big for us.
No, I'm sorry. The socialist candidate for New York City mayor, you gotta go on the trans
gotta
YouTube.
go on the trans YouTube
You
show.
gotta go on the trans YouTube.
Yeah.
Because Cuomo's not doing that, I'll tell you
And
that.
hey,
Exactly.
if you also want to come on any podcasts where you can just show that you're cool and online and you know the internet stuff, that's something you could do as well.
For
If
sure.
you're listening, Zoran, which I'm sure you are.
My favorite, because you guys get a bunch of really good political people, and my favorite clip is when Chiose,
Yeah.
who is, I don't know if he's a state senator or a city councilman.
He's a city council member.
But he's like, his whole thing is that he's Gen Z. He does really good YouTube and video series and stuff. And Chiose went on Going Down and lied to Ella and said he wasn't gay. So
Oh
Ella
my
asked
God.
him a question like, oh, so you're gay? And he's like, no, I'm not. And then
I have never panicked harder in my entire. We've been talking about him as the gay, hip Gen Z New York City Council member, and I we hadn't ever fully checked it. I just assumed we all, and he seems gay.
He's gay. He is gay.
So I went.
You checked it within yourself.
So I said, as a gay man, and he went, no, I'm not. I was.
It was
He
so
really
funny.
got my ass.
So funny to watch. Oh my God.
Last week we talked about pranks that are okay to play, and it's you tricking someone into thinking that they called you gay when you're not. That's an allowed prank.
An allowed prank.
That's a prank that's within bounds.
And then quickly saying, just kidding.
Just kidding,
Yeah,
just kidding.
exactly.
Right. He
Yeah.
let me sit it for the exact right amount of time
Yeah.
and then let me move on.
I will say on April Fool's, my friend did what I think is the best April Fool's prank I've ever gotten, which was just that it said that they had tagged me in a story.
Oh, yeah.
And then when I clicked on the story, it said, haha, nobody tagged you in a story, dummy. I was like,
I did that, yeah. I was like a chain message.
and I was like,
and I just,
this is perfect. I was like, why was I tagged in a story?
the one I got was meaner. It was like, no one tagged you, you ugly bitch.
LOL.
But I sent it to like my 3 closest. I don't really send it to like Brandon because I knew
Absolutely.
he would think it was funny. Well, you know what's not funny? Our discourse today.
Oh, good.
So today's discourse is a little bit of a TikTok. And
Because we have Ella here.
Because we have Ella here,
That's
we
what
got to
I'm here
talk about
for.
politics, kind of. And today we're going to look at the official White House's Twitter account. First of all, before we get into it, what is the purpose of the White House having a Twitter account? Like,
Wow.
if you were just to think and define and, like, kind of play out what should the White House official Twitter account be doing and posting, what would it look like?
I mean, I've been really coming around to the opinion that I don't think politicians should have social media at all.
Mm.
I know that people like Chi and Zoran are really using it in like an effective, like, but I think once you're elected, you should stop post. Like, I really think you have to stop posting. And I have that opinion because of this account, because of people like JD Vance and
Yeah.
Trump. And, but I don't know. I think in a good world, the White House account would like just post updates.
Yeah.
Like,
On what?
just like when laws got passed or
Mm.
like news clips from the State of the Union. Like, I want our government to be a little bit boring. I feel
Yeah.
like when I was younger, I was like, man, politics is so boring. Why does anyone care about it? And now it's like, I really wish politics was a little bit more boring again.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm desperate for just like a completely sanitized public image from the White House at this point. But yeah, I would say that in a working, functional scenario, what the White House Twitter account would be like almost just press releases. This is what we did today. Here's a picture of the president signing something. Maybe every once in a while, something cute that's like,
Here's the dog. Yeah.
Here's the dog. It's the first lady's birthday. Oh, the Easter egg roll was today.
I don't mind Obama's like playlists or like his like movie list.
But
Yeah.
Obama, I don't even think Obama never did the playlist while he was in office.
Oh, is he only doing those?
He was
posts?
only doing that post.
Well, I don't want like that. Even is fine to me. Like,
Yeah.
fine, humanize the president a little bit, I guess. Like, I mean, Obama like also it blew up a lot of people. So
Yeah.
like I'm not a huge fan, but
I think by nature of being president,
right? No, exactly.
You know,
But I don't need like I don't know. Today, Trump tweeted. He quote tweeted his own. Maybe I'm getting ahead of
You're
myself.
getting ahead of yourself.
All right.
Well, it's just good to because we want to talk about what should it be.
Sure.
And you know, it should be. Both of you said is just press releases, and it should be boring.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Clearly, that's not what's happening right now.
No.
So I just have to say, like, I have to premise, like, first of all, because of this show, I'm on social media a lot. I don't know if you'd call it reporting. We do talk about social media a lot.
Yeah.
We do report on a lot of stuff. But also, it's important to know that both Elise and I's day jobs have been in social media management, in marketing, and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So we can speak to this on a professional level. And I will also say that me and Elise are progressive. So I want to come at this from a professional angle of like, is this good professionally? And then there's a second layer of like, what is the messaging behind this? Do I agree with the messaging behind this? Well, I'll go ahead and say we probably don't agree on like any of the messaging behind the White
I'm
House.
going to go ahead and say, without seeing any of the posts you pulled, I'm not going to be agreeing with the messaging.
But is it effective? Is it doing what it wants? Whatever. So
Right.
let's just talk about background on Donald Trump's social media staff. Trump 1.0, he had a guy named Dan Scavino.
Yes.
And I was in some professional marketing groups on social media of like social media managers and stuff. It was supposed to be a secret society, whatever. Like that's a whole thing.
Illuminati.
Wow.
Kind of like the people
That's
who run the
exciting.
Wendy's Twitter. We would all be
Oh.
like, Facebook isn't replying.
Do you remember the Denny's Tumblr?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So all the people that ran that, we would all be in a group together and it was like whatever. And we would all talk about how crazy Dan Scavino is because he was Trump's caddy that got promoted to social media manager.
Yes.
And like half of the like kind of, and this is all lore and like, you know, whatever. especially around Trump 1.0, which is around 2015, 2016, the gripes within that community was like, people don't take our profession seriously. We're not paid enough. Like, social media is like kind of the front lines of customer service and all this stuff. And corporations were getting late to it, So that was like our gripe. And then in comes Jan Scavino, former caddy, never worked a day in social media life. Like, all the graphics and shit were bad. And then to find out that he was paid $300,000 a year
No.
at the time, it was like more than, any social media person at the time. Now social media has evolved and like, I feel like corporations and people have gotten in line with like social media is important, but that's all like background. So now most of Trump's social media team is comprised from Fox News, the RNC, Citizens United, the Heritage Foundation, or Getter.
Oh, God.
And
Awesome.
Getter, let's talk a little bit about Getter. So the origin story of Getter is after January 6, 2021.
Awesome start. Awesome start to the story.
Perfect.
Exactly. Several social media sites banned Donald Trump from their platforms, including Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and anyone who shared conspiracy theories and extremist content. These actions led to a big outcry from some American conservatives that social media sites and big tech were deplatforming or shadow banning them. I think this is important. I'm sharing this because this does lead into where we are right now with social media.
100%.
I know.
But like,
It's wild to think about just you saying that sentence of where we were after January 6th to now all of the people who quote unquote banned him were standing around him at his inauguration.
Well, I mean, it's why Elon bought Twitter in the end, right?
Exactly.
It like led directly to that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So after the bans, Trump began to look for alternative outlets, eventually creating his own blog similar to share content that he had previously posted on Twitter. After poor reception, he closed the blog shortly after its launch. Jason Miller, then Trump's senior advisor and spokesman since 2016, for several months teased plans by the Trump team to create a social network of their own. Getter is an alt-tech social media platform and microblogging site targeting American conservatives. Founded by Jason Miller, the platform experienced issues shortly after launch, including internet trolls posting content that violated terms of service, users flooding in with pornography, the brief hacking of some high-profile accounts. Journalists have observed the prevalence of extreme content on the platform, including racism, anti-Semitism, and terrorist propaganda.
Okay.
On February 2022, there were 6.5 million global downloads on the Getter app in the App Store and Google Play. So that's all to say, a lot of the Trump communications department is from all these conservative organizations and Getter, including the main social media guy, who is a man by the name Kalen Dorr. And his name is spelled, if you can believe, Kaelan, and Dorr is spelled Dorr. So just crazy white
None of that
people
is right.
spelling
Yeah.
names.
Yeah.
Nothing's right.
I
I
just
feel
want-
so out of the loop. I feel like I'm pretty online. I've never heard of Getter. I know about Truth Social.
Yeah, I was like,
I didn't
where's-
know much about Getter either, so that's why I shared it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, where does Truth Social factor into Getter? Because it's interesting to me that Trump has decided to go to Truth Social, but I also feel like Truth Social is literally just for Donald Trump
Yeah.
to post.
It's like the Jeremy
specifically.
Renner app.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What my kind of presumption is that a lot of the Getter traffic moved to Rumble. Like Rumble's supposed to be like a
Rumble.
conservative YouTube,
Or like Kick, which is conservative Twitch.
conservative Twitch, and then I feel like a lot of the Getter stuff moved to Truth Social, like quietly, but I don't know if people are still using Getter, but
Interesting.
it's just interesting that a lot of the people from Getter are now serving
Yeah.
as communication, the social media
apparatus.
team. So Kalen Dorr, this is his second time serving as in the White House. He's the deputy assistant to the president and deputy communications director. After serving as senior strategist and spokesperson for MAGA Inc., Dorr previously served as senior advisor for public affairs at the Department of Treasury, congressional communications director, and strategic communications advisor in the executive office of the president. He was the global head of marketing and engagement for Getter. He's the vice president of communications for America First Policy Institute and chief marketing officer for Donald J. Trump for president.
Every business you mentioned was so cursed.
So
Yeah.
cursed.
MAGA Inc., America First. Ella, I'm like, no.
Yay.
No.
Well. Do you want to talk about curse?
Okay.
Let's hear Kaylin Dorr. Let's hear this sentence, right? Stay with me. We are going to hear Kaylin Dorr talk to us about the Trump social media strategy on YouTube when he's interviewed by Bitcoin Magazine.
Of course.
So let's
Bitcoin
watch
Magazine.
Bitcoin Magazine's YouTube
Thank God.
channel.
Here with Kaylin Dorr, Deputy Communications Director for the White House, as well as Brian Morgenstern, Head of Public Policy at Riot Platforms, as well as the former Deputy Communications Director for the White House. Excellent to have both of you gentlemen here with us. Kaylin, please fill us in a little bit on what it's been like behind the scenes during these first 100 days in the White House.
Well, thank you guys for being here. And as far as Brian being the previous deputy communications director, I think everyone here can agree the position got to glow up during the 4-year blip.
How dare you?
Let's litigate this on camera. Let's do it. No, this has been an incredible administration to be a part of. I'm very blessed to be here. What we're doing, especially by bringing in what we deem new media outlets like yourself, I think is very integral to the ethos of this administration. I think the tagline for the opening 100 days was essentially America is back. And I think the subtext to that is obviously we're going to be irreverent in our outreach to folks, and we're going to meet you there. Right. The previous 4 years, it was a lot of, you come to us, we'll take care of you. We're actively seeking people out. I just did, just so everyone can understand the visual at home, we were in one room, and in the next room, there are about 10 or 11 local radio outlets here today. We've cycled through about 15 the day before. We're doing long form podcast tapings just like this all over campus. So it's pretty cool. And I say all that to say, I was in there. There's a guy from the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania, and he had an opportunity to ask, myself, Tom Homan, and and I think maybe Marty McCary, the FDA guy, a bunch of questions. And what that means to these local people, they're stickier users as far as you talk through like a tech brain. They're like stickier consumers of news. They are coming here with intention. They're coming to listen to those guys with intention. And I think that's just something that, the previous occupants of this building, they didn't quite understand. It's something we definitely want to capitalize on. So I cannot express to you guys enough how grateful we are that you would come here and be a part of that effort today, because your constituency, Bitcoiners, at large, are kind of the people who I would say helped win us this election.
I do just have to shout out the absolute swaglessness of every single person in that.
It's so horrible. His sideburns make him look like his beard is swallowing his face.
Yeah. The level of like malignant dorkism that was coming off of those
using like tech words, like like sticky users. You're talking about like voters and like constituents in Pennsylvania, and you're using like consumer words. Like I hated all of that.
I know. And also the way that he called them Bitcoiners, I was like, I don't think that's
What
correct.
they call themselves, yeah.
I don't think they refer to themselves that way.
Well, there's a lot of interesting things happening here, right? So to me, this guy's a fucking dork. All these guys, like, they have taken they've taken like the podcast format. It's like they're calling themselves new media, but then they're dressing up in suits and then trying to put legitimacy there. And it's like, which one is it? Are you guys salt of the earth? Like whatever? Or are you guys like elitist?
Well, that's the whole Republican like trick, is pretending to be like the working class, the outsider, we're gonna like get in there and root out the deep state, but actually they're the rich deep state.
Yeah.
They are the ones causing the problems. They're the ones benefiting from these tax cuts for the wealthy. Like it's the trick that Rogan plays. It's the trick that Republicans have been playing all the way since fucking Reagan and probably before that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And okay, so there's two things that I want to call out, right? Usually with fascist governments, the way that they try to operate the media is they'll try to muscle out existing traditional media and like suppress any dissent in traditional media. And like anyone who speaks out against them, they'll jail, they'll whatever, hostile takeover of media agencies to make them pro-state. So what the White House seems to be doing, they are not doing a hostile takeover. They're trying to delegitimize traditional media while elevating any outlet that is kind to them, including YouTubers in the middle of Pennsylvania with no credentials, and calling them serious news while trying to defund and suppress traditional media outlets that have journalistic integrity, that look up sources like NPR, like 60 Minutes. So there's that's happening, in this. But then there's another thing where it was a critique of Democrats where it's like, yeah, they're meeting people where they are. They're being a little bit more wide with their message. The Dems would hear somebody in Pennsylvania that has a few followers and has whatever. They wouldn't give that guy the time of day. And it's like, should they be doing that? Should they have been going on more long form podcasts? And it's not even like, oh, Kamala needed to be doing it, but it was also like, yeah, what? There were failures from the Democratic Party in the way that the Republicans are seeing this new media and really leaning into it.
I mean, I think the Democrats have a history of being kind of slow to respond to anything.
Yeah.
The Republicans have this advantage where they get to be the reactionary or the reactive
Yeah.
ones because they don't have real good solutions.
Yeah.
Not that the Democrats have great solutions for anything, but the Republicans and fascists in general, their whole strategy is just sort of pointing at problems and saying, it's brown people,
Yeah.
it's gay people. And being loud and sort of angry allows you to be more reactive in that way. And I think there's a long history of the alt-right using even early internet as an organizing ground. And because Democrats are so committed to their status quo, the system works, we just have to elect the right people line, I think that makes them slow to realize that there are non-traditional strategies or avenues to power.
Totally. And I also feel like there's an element of, Democrats just, and this is another big critique of them, they have to have everything be so vetted and so polished. Anyone that is going to sit down with the Democratic candidate for president has to go through so many hoops, when it really does seem like Donald Trump would, if Barron told him, hey, everyone, my friends all listen to this podcast, he's going on. There's also no line for him. He wouldn't not go on a podcast because that guy had been I am a Nazi before, you know, whereas Kamala would probably, or just any generic Dem, we'll make it the generic Dem candidate would probably not go on a podcast if that person had said, I'm a socialist before, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
The line to be able to engage with the top Democrats is so hard, and with Republicans it's super porous because they don't.
And I think
they don't
that's
give a
Trump
fuck.
specific. I actually think Trump really shook up. I think Republicans before Trump were probably more similar to what we're talking about with Democrats. It was just sort of the bureaucracy as a whole. But Trump, for all his flaws, he's a media guy. He's a performer, and he knows how to sell himself on TV. And I think he used that very effectively.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing is does this mean that every Dem needs to be doing all of this that the Trump? But I was could we learn from maybe we do need some or some representatives, because again, this guy, you didn't even know what his fucking name was, and God knows we didn't know how his name was spelled, but he's going and he's speaking to these people, and he's so it's maybe it is something about. There needs to be somebody that's doing this on behalf of the government to talk about, hey, this is what we're doing and stuff. And the thing is Republicans will just straight up lie.
Well, right. That's because we have people like AOC went and played Among Us with Hassan and Chi and Zoran. And I think the problem is that Republicans will go on and say, we're fixing the problem by deporting people. We're fixing the problem by cracking down on anti-Semitism. What we want is Democrats to go on platforms and say, look at the things we're doing to fix the problems. But that also requires them to be doing anything.
Yeah.
And they just won't do that.
Well, and you're saying Chi and Zoran and AOC, but they are not celebrated by the DNC.
No, absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. People who are actually empowered by whatever going, which is that's the tough thing.
I feel the closest we have is that they let Pete Buttigieg kind of go around.
Yeah.
And he actually does a pretty good job for what they want
Yeah.
him to do.
I feel like they
and
might run him in
Oh,
2028.
they're certainly prepping him because they've
Yeah.
got him going on. Did he just do Theo Vaughn or
He
someone
went
of
on
that
fucking
nature?
Andrew Schultz,
Yes,
who like we've
yeah.
covered for being extremely racist against black women and saying that whatever.
Woo! Sorry.
That was her problem.
Clipping that for social.
that.
Ella, we got you, Ella.
There we go. Listen, if you want money for going
No,
down,
I know. I thought it was like,
yeah, you could
and
be a
it's like,
grifter.
actually, it's the bad transgenders that are the problem. I'm one of the
Yeah.
good ones.
Yeah,
You
for
could
sure.
have JD Vance on going down
Yeah.
in days if you
Days.
just made a hard pivot to the right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now let's talk about actually what the work is. Let's look at some of the posts. So
Yeah.
let's go on this lovely post that was posted on Valentine's Day, where the White House posted a poem alongside pictures of Trump and border czar Tom Homan. Next slide. Roses are red, violets are blue. Come here illegally and we'll deport you.
Oh,
What
Jesus.
is this image that we're seeing, guys?
Tumblr Valentines were played out in 2015. It's not even a cool meme. Like,
But what is this is a
oh right, it's an audio
medium.
podcast.
Yeah.
We're looking at like a pink rectangle with little hearts, and there's like a cutout picture of Trump, and I assume Tom Homan with like a white border drop shadow, and the poem is written in like the font looks like it's written in crayon. It's like a very classic like Tumblr Valentine, which
Yeah.
is a meme format.
Yeah, it's made to look like a Valentine's Day card, and it's very disturbing.
It's so hideous.
And it's like, I feel like you're right. It was like Tumblr Valentine's Day, because I remember in 2015, like a really popular Tumblr Valentine's Day was like, I love you like Kanye loves Kanye.
Right,
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
it's very much giving
I
that.
love you like John loves Sherlock. It's
Yeah.
like it's giving
Yeah.
super Hulock, which
Yeah.
like it's 2025.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because, like, this is crazy, but this was posted by the official White House Instagram and Twitter account.
It looks like an Onion post.
Yeah.
And I know that's like sort of a played out thing to say because everything they post looks like every headline. I feel like during Trump 1.0, it was a popular thing to be like,
This could be
look,
the
this
Onion.
could be an Onion
Yeah.
headline. And now it's like everything could be an Onion headline. I'm
Yeah.
shocked. Like, I can't imagine the work the Onion writers are doing to try and get ahead of shit.
Yeah, exactly. Well, literally, when I was in the bathroom before this recording, I saw a headline that was like, Trump says he's going to open Alcatraz. I was like, what the fuck?
What do you
What do you
mean?
mean he's going to open Alcatraz? It's a museum. Like, that's
Just
like-
stick them in there.
He doesn't
whatever.
even know that it's like closed. He doesn't even know. what
He
they did.
doesn't know. He just has heard that word. But it was just so crazy.
So embarrassing.
So again, Dore maintained that sometimes the quote irreverent tone coming from the administration is collecting with users, particularly people from the ages 25 to 34. That's kind of why they're saying, like, look, it's not what it's used to be. It's not boring stuff because we're trying to get into younger people.
Right. I mean, and we just talked about like the tackiness of the aesthetic. Obviously, the text itself is deeply evil, right?
Yeah,
like it's so horrible.
That's what's also so disturbing about the stuff that comes from this account, because I have seen, I'm aware of the work that they're doing along this line, and it's like they're trying to have this quirky, irreverent tone, and they're talking about deporting people,
Yeah.
ruining families. This is an administration that has mistakenly sent multiple people to El Salvador and is saying we can't get them back, probably because it wasn't a mistake. But either way, quote unquote, mistakenly sent these people.
Well, it wasn't a mistake on their part, but
That's what I mean.
It's not what they should be doing.
No, it's not. I'm not
Don't
saying
say-
that they.
yeah.
It wasn't a mistake for them. They
for
like
them.
don't think of it that way, which is why they're not pressed to get people back. But like that, to hear this rhetoric coming from them as they're doing that stuff is very disturbing.
And it's also
upsetting.
showing that they don't view people like, because ripping people apart from their families is like really sad and really dark. At the core, you have to remember, and this is to, anybody who might be a person of color who is like interested or thinking about voting for they do not view you as people. So they don't care that they're ripping apart families or the realities of like the labor in this country that is, by undocumented. So they think it's a fucking joke that you're separated from your family.
I've seen people criticize stuff like this with like, well, it used to be that when we deported someone, we would take it seriously and we'd understand that it had to happen for legal reasons, but at least we treat it with, it's like, no, they've always thought this way. They just feel like they're allowed to say it. Like, this is how they've always treated Black and brown people.
This is part of the like gloating, mean-spirited tone that was always existent in the Trump movement. That's like part of what I think attracts the people that are attracted to it. But I feel like when we're always talking about the difference between like Trump 1.0 and 2.0, 2.0 is so much of this. Like, it's just this thing of like, oh, we love the meanness. We love the cruelty. We think it's funny. And part of what's funny about it to us is that it's going to upset you. And like, let's own the libs or whatever type energy. And it's like, okay, you're a sick person.
So the thing about the videos that are posted to the White House social media account, what they're doing now is that they're taking clips. So Trump could have a 40, 30, 20-minute interview with Meet the Press. They're taking 30-second clips where Donald Trump doesn't say anything, like says shit that doesn't make sense.
Of course.
And he's just lying on camera. And they're cutting the clips where there is no fact checking, no responses. And what I've noticed is they've gloated about having at least like 40 related Trump accounts. So not just the White House official, but they have all these different sub accounts. And one of them is called Rapid Response 47. And it's the official rapid response account of the Trump 47th White House, supporting at POTUS America First Agenda. This is the bio of Rapid Response 47 on Twitter, and holding the fake news accountable. And from what I see is like any criticism or anything where Trump looks bad, it is just this page's job to always like make Trump look good, to push anything that makes Trump look good. And it's verified, has the White House logo, has almost the 395,953,000 followers, right? That makes sense?
I'm not looking at the number, but that sounds correct.
Almost a million.
Almost a million
followers.
Almost
That's a lot.
million.
And what they'll do is post videos that are so cut and doctored, like the one I'm about to show you.
Good.
And then the official White House Twitter account will repost it from their account.
Great.
So let's watch
They're just like generating engagement for themselves.
Well,
great. It's like when I post a character video and I comment on it from my open mics.
Exactly. Like Going Down will post a clip and then I will share it and I will tag Going Down so that they can repost my story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're creating a loop within yourself.
Look at all my fans. It's just me.
Prices are already going up on some popular items.
Whoa.
Tires, strollers.
This is such a dishonest interview already. Prices are down on groceries. Prices are down for oil. Prices are down for all energy. Prices are down at tremendous numbers for gasoline. And let me tell you, when you have the big thing, what he did, he spent like a stupid person, which he was, but he spent like a very stupid person. And that was bad for inflation. But what really killed us with inflation was the price of energy.
He's talking about Biden?
He's talking about Biden. And basically, this is from Meet the Press. It's just a Sunday show, so it was just it was reposted. And then it says, okay, so the White Rapid Response tweeted, "Meet the fake press. Quote, prices are already going up, quote, at POTUS. This is such a dishonest interview already. Prices are going down on groceries. Prices are down for oil. Prices are down for all energy. Prices are down at tremendous numbers for gasoline." So what's interesting is that the responses to the rapid response that has been reposted by the White House are this: prices are up, you liars. Another one, groceries are up. Home goods are, these are all commenters that are responding to the
And
video
they're all
saying-
verified.
And
Twitter
they're all
Blue.
verified. They're
I know.
paying for Twitter. So they're like, home goods are up. Gas price was cheaper last week than this week. The power company is raising the rates again. This is another verified person saying, I don't see food prices going down at all. Which areas see it?
Can I just say that this person's handle is Rabbi Musk 69?
Well,
I just think it's
That's
important for us
awesome.
to hone in on Rabbi Musk 69.
It's like, I would be surprised if Trump really... He's so wrong all the time these days. And we've just spent 4 years like being like, Biden has dementia. Trump's just as old. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Trump really believed those and is being fed lies by the many eviler people that work around him. But he might really think that prices are down all around him.
He's so addled. It's alarming. And like, it's funny because this round I've been not engaging with a ton of media where I can like see or hear him.
That's really
I would just like
beautiful.
read what he says. So this is the first time I've kind of seen him visually in a while. And I'm like,
Looks bad.
he looks fucking horrible. His
Yeah.
hair was crazy. Not even like in the like his toupee way. I mean that like it was not combed on the
Yeah.
side.
Yeah.
He's hunched over. He's looking red.
Such a dishonest interview.
He's such a
Well, it's so crazy because I wanted to show that video because that's like the splicing and dicing that they do. And then they post it on Rapid Response. They get a bunch of comments. And then the White House Twitter will be like, wow, the White House social media account has raised engagement by 50% compared to the other. And like, that's kind of what they're doing.
So they're doing like a Ragebait play.
So speaking of Ragebait, here's the pinned tweet.
Oh.
The pinned tweet on the White House social media page. It's the White House social media saying, we are not the same. What are we looking at here?
On the left, it's two images. On the left, it's Trump in the Oval Office with
Rachel
Morin, who is
so the mother of a woman who was raped and murdered by an illegal immigrant in 2023.
Right.
That's who's Trump's meeting with.
I see. Oh, and on the right, it's Chris Van Hollen and I'm gonna blank
Kilmar
on his name.
Albrego Garcia.
Thank you. Who is the American, not citizen, but non MS-13 gang member,
Yeah, who was deported
to the El Salvador prison.
Yes.
Which like I had criticisms of Van Hollen going to El Salvador because I think a lot of what the Democrats do is kind of performative, but it was cool of him to do this.
Yes.
Yeah.
On like a human level.
Yeah.
Everything
it's so
is
gross. This is such a gross
So
tweet.
what are they saying with this?
They're trying to say like, oh, the Democrats, I mean, what they would say they're saying is that the Democrats support illegal immigrants who commit crimes like the crime that this woman's daughter was a victim of, but we support the victims of the crime, which, I mean, I have problems with framing it that way, but it's also particularly upsetting when the person who he's talking to is someone who has committed no crime and was wrongfully deported to El Salvador.
Yeah. And they tagged. So it's again this
they tagged the senator.
They tagged the senator Chris Van Hollen, and it's again it all goes down to rage baiting, like this punitive punishment focused fucking shit that they do. Another post of theirs. So what is this?
Oh my God.
Oh no.
Well, so it's obviously AI generated, which is kind of a theme with the White House Twitter account. Sort of a whole other thing.
So it says, yes, a true classic. We call this, quote, not a Maryland dad.
It's an AI-generated image of the same guy, Kilmar Garcia. In the style of like an Obama 08 poster.
Yes.
So like lots of
the
blues
logo's
and
actually
red.
still
Oh my God,
on
yeah,
it.
the Obama 08
Obama
poster
08
is
logo's
there. But instead of anything Obama related, it does say MS-13 on it. And it's their whole. They're mad because when real news outlets have been reporting on this story, they've been referring to him as a Maryland man or a Maryland dad because he is that, and he is not an MS-13 gang member, and he is not an undocumented migrant, and he is not wrongfully in this country by any metric.
No.
But they really seem to, if not think he is, want us to think he is. They've like shown pictures of his like hand tats and are saying it's code for MS-13. That they're just pulling it out of their ass.
He's just a Hispanic guy.
He's
Like
just a
that's all.
Hispanic guy.
And he has some tattoos. Like that's all that means MS-13 to them.
Yeah. And back to what you were saying, Ella, about the Maryland dad. This is something that they pulled. So this is what they literally the White House Twitter account on May 3rd, while we were having fucking tea.
Wow.
They're saying, congrats on your new gig at the New York Times or AP. Here's your fake news reframing guide trademark. Perfect for turning illegal alien MS-13 gang members into Maryland dads in seconds.
We're looking at a meme that they created that's trying to, again, they're trying to display this idea that like this is how the fake news media is talking about this guy. So on one side, it'll say, rather than this, illegal alien from El Salvador, MS-13 gang member and suspected human trafficker with an arrow to report this, Maryland dad. So now they're just picking they have a couple different examples, and it seems like they're just picking how they would want to talk about this person, which is wrong, to how the media talks about this person, which is like slightly humanizing them and just
They're
saying where they're
so mad that the news media won't like just adopt their spin,
Yeah.
which is funny because people on the left are pretty critical of the Washington Post and the New York Times
Yeah.
for like staying too objective on kind of the flip side. It's often like,
Yes.
this house in Gaza was bombed. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, bombed by who? And who?
The officer involved shooting type language.
But this, it's like, yeah, we can't call him an MS-13 gang member because he hasn't been convicted of doing that. And there's
Right?
no evidence that he was that.
Yeah, and
So-
the Supreme Court is like, you actually have to bring him back.
my God,
because
9-0, yeah.
like, because there is no evidence that he is that. So they're the ones who want to call him something that he has not proven to be, whereas Maryland dad is correct. He is a dad in Maryland.
It's interesting because they're taking like what leftists use to critique these centrist outlets. They're using the same kind of language and critique, but using it for their right-wing talking points, and
Yeah.
it just doesn't land. And I shared this repost because basically what I think happened was this guy, Steve Guest, who is not a White House official, he's a conservative communicator, alum of at Ted Cruz, at GOP, and he's a fan of UCLA.
Awesome.
I don't know, loser. But what happened is they saw this guy tweet this.
And this
then,
original tweet that they're basing it on is basically just this guy posting screenshots of news media.
Highlighting the way they're describing these
Yeah.
people.
And it's all just a Georgia man has been indicted, or
Which
wife
is just
of
pretty
deported Maryland.
standard news language.
Yeah, like there's nothing to be mad about with this, but yeah.
it goes in line with what they're saying. The official White House Twitter account retweeted it and then used it to make a meme that supports their thing. And again, tell me, okay, if this tweet was fire, if it went viral, yo, it got 1,000 likes.
Right.
From my understanding, a Brooklyn man, a Georgia man, a Maryland man, usually the article says their names.
Right. The next paragraph in each of these, I mean, even the ABC News headline, wife of deported Maryland man, Abrego Garcia. Like, they name him,
Yeah.
So it's like they use it as a descriptor, so they're not just repeating the name over and over
Right.
and over and over and over again.
well, it's because none of these people have ever taken a single creative writing class in their entire lives.
Yeah.
They don't know how to format a paragraph of prose.
Yeah, like they think it's a sinister thing when it's like, no, it's just easier to read something when you change up how you describe someone. And actually, if we're going to come at it from a professional setting, in this first meme, the rather than this, report this, the thing that they want them to use is always like
It's
a full
1,000
sentence
words,
long.
Yeah.
And it's like Maryland dad is just easier to write. Some of these things have word count situations.
yeah.
Well, I think about this in the context of our show a lot. Because one of the things the Daily Show like sort of revolutionized when they hit the scene in the late 90s, early 2000s was taking clips of, like, they were paying attention more than a lot of political commentary was, and they were taking clips of politicians saying things and sort of juxtaposing them against other things those same politicians were, like, showing hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think you could do something like this with this, where I could like go through the White House Twitter and like copy edit their own tweets, or play this game back at them if I wanted to. But they're putting out so much content
Yeah.
that like
Muzzle velocity.
that I'm right. It's like I just don't have the like they're doing it because they know they're just gonna wear me. Like, I don't have the energy to go through and play that game with them anymore.
Totally. Once they put this out, this goes out. You're not going to guarantee that anyone would see the correction, even
Right.
if like a community note gets attached
Yeah.
to this. I don't think that those are actually effective. And if you quote tweet it and you debunk everything that this says, or you quote tweet the Donald Trump clip and you debunk that he says the prices are actually going down, there's no guarantee that the same person who saw the clip are going to see the correction.
Yeah.
So it gets to just kind of go out.
And that's, I think, a danger with like the social media effect on the news is
Yeah.
I mean, the death of journalism and of newspapers and is obviously a huge problem. But I think even if newspapers were at their height of their strength, they can't react fast enough to fake news can get out there. You can just lie. And once it's had 1 million views, even if every news outlet in the world reports, hey, this isn't true, 1 million people have seen your lie. Most of them will not see the correction. Yeah, it's really
Exactly.
damaging.
Let's look at this next picture from the White House official social media account. And it's a repost of Donald Trump's Truth Social, I think.
Yes.
Awesome.
And what are we looking at here?
It's an AI image of Trump as the Pope.
And this is from May 2nd. So
That's
like
that
right
is-
after he died.
I know
Yeah.
that's like so funny to make an AI of yourself of somebody after they died. Like, and also when the other thing that's going on online at this exact moment is that everyone's joking that JD Vance killed the Pope
Right.
because the Pope had just met with JD Vance before dying. It's very funny for Donald Trump to post this
It's
insane
so-
AI.
The Republicans are still somehow managing to like present themselves as the party of Christian values while being helmed by the most sacrilegious man to
I know.
ever walk the planet. I just don't understand how their voter base doesn't like see the dissonance there. It's
well, I think that they're like, well, he might not be religious, but he's gonna push our agenda ahead,
yeah.
which is, all they care about. Speaking of agenda, let's see this clip, and we'll just look at this video real quick. It's like a minute long, and this is from the White House social media account that says, DEI was garbage. We lit the match. Men and women's sports, ? Delusional. So we shut it down. This isn't radical. It's just common sense. Fire American flag emoji. Now, what do we notice? M dash. It's giving
ChatGPT
It's
generated
giving ChatGPT.
caption.
Oh.
That's one of
Is
the.
ChatGPT known for M dashes?
dashes.
That's what people say, and it makes me sad because
I love an M
I
dash.
love an M dash, and I'm like, this is because ChatGPT is stealing from
My
the
work.
literary
Right,
minded
exactly.
individuals online.
How
But-
dare they?
But yeah, the M dash is like becoming a marker of ChatGPT. I also do think a fire emoji and then an American flag emoji is very apt in that they have set America on fire.
Yeah.
So true.
So let's watch this video compilation that was posted by the White House.
We're going to bring back common sense to government.
President Trump's bringing back common sense, and I think everyone wins from that.
We've ended the tyranny of so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion policies all across the entire federal government.
I do not think you can overstate the importance of Donald Trump killing DEI. President Trump's been clear we are turning the page on DEI. DEI is a cancer.
This is the EO. Here you go. Reward individual initiative, skills, performance, and hard work.
You should be hired and promoted based on skill and competence, not race or gender. We have removed the poison of critical race theory from our public schools, and I signed an order making it the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female. I also signed an executive order to ban men from playing in women's sports. When you look at some of the waste, fraud, and abuse that's being uncovered by Doge,
Doge savings $162 billion.
they're finding levels of fraud and waste and abuse like I think nobody ever thought possible. Common sense has become a common theme, and we will never go back, never.
The choice of music and all that,
Yes. Talk about it.
they're coming off very scary to me. Like, to me, that
It
was
sounds like a movie trailer.
exactly, and
This
that,
summer.
exactly, and it's like this is the villain of the
Yeah.
movie. Like,
Yeah.
this is what you see at the beginning of the movie to know that like fascism has taken hold, and like,
Put a pin in villain, but continue.
but I mean that is just what I was getting from it. I don't know. I think that they mean to seem strong and a little bit like sinister. I don't know if they realize that they're just coming off like in kind of a full Darth Vader type energy.
Put a pin in Darth Vader.
Wow.
LOL.
Okay.
I mean, we can talk for days about DEI and why the only reason the federal government mandated is because, sorry, white people weren't hiring the best people for the job. They literally had to make it illegal for you not to hire someone. Like,
People actually were getting jobs based off of their gender and color. It's just they were getting them for being white men. And then
and-
we tried to change it. And they're like, well, you can't just give people jobs based on their gender and color. And it's like, well,
that's what you
Yeah.
guys literally. But also, I just did want to talk like from a piece. It's just like this dark, like the coloring of it is dark, and it's like
so
the
scary.
yeah, it's
And
scary.
it's from the people who got so. Do you remember when Biden gave a speech and there was that image of him, like with his fists up in the air, and the lights on the White House behind him were red,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Biden is evil.
Yeah.
Devil."
Look, he's proving that he's evil because he has red light behind him." And it's like, and then they're putting out this content that is framing him like a Marvel villain. It's crazy.
Yeah.
These are people who, there was like an SNL sketch a while back where they pretended to be Satanists summoned at Applebee's on your birthday. And there were people commenting being like, SNL including real devil worship on the show.
Wow.
Like they're revealing themselves as Satanists. Like these are people who believe that. But then this video, they'll be like, hell yeah, rock on.
Right, no, but that's what I mean. Like there's these hardcore religious freaks out there who somehow think that Trump is the Messiah or that Trump is the one to bring Christ back to the country. It's like, how do you look at this man and not, I'm not very religious, but how do you look at this man and not think that he is like the opposite of everything the Bible is supposed to be telling you?
I just get confused by that as
Well,
well.
speaking of confusing, here's another post. The only DEI we support is deport every illegal. So that's good. And it's also like the White House social media account is really just hitting their greatest hits. They know people hate DEI. They know people hate immigrants. And they're not focusing on anything like shit from China is 162% upcharge.
Yeah.
And they are and they're tweeting about DEI like on May 2nd instead of like what the
My
fuck they're
Temu order is expensive now.
The Temu order is expensive.
We had to quickly order Temu stuff for the tea party because I was like, Millie, the tariffs are going to take hold and these pens are going to get really expensive.
We're coming up on the 90 days, right?
Yeah.
It's happening. Well, it's already hitting. But this. So what they did was they made a 46-hour lo-fi hip-hop beats, but it's called Lo-Fi MAGA video to study and relax to. And it's playing lo-fi beats, and it also has animated Donald Trump. Like instead of the little anime girl with her cat typing and stuff, it has Donald Trump, quote unquote, signing bills. And on the right, it's like everything they accomplished in their 100 days.
Yeah, it's like a cartoon Trump who looks very like youthful and peaceful.
Yeah.
Not at all like what we've been seeing. And then on the right, it says all the stuff he's done. I mean, great.
And it was a 46-hour, 18-minute and 9-second stream on Twitter that was just, again, lo-fi MAGA video.
And it has 3.9 million views. I mean, that's probably just people who engaged with it for like 3 seconds.
I'm watching it right now. It's been playing on my phone for the last 2 days.
I know. I'm like, what are these beats?
Yeah, well, it's lo-fi. It's lo-fi hip-hop. Which is, again,
where did he get them? I wonder.
Well,
like
they don't credit any of the people that are like music. It is because usually they credit the music or say now playing, and it's interesting because lo-fi, if you're not sure, like it's just like supposed to be very stripped back, imperfections, noises, like distorted audio, unpolished, not heavily processed as high fidelity music. It's low fidelity music, and there's a retro aesthetic.
Is
and I'm
that
just
what
like
FI stands for? Fidelity?
Fidelity.
I learned something today.
I know, that's
low fidelity audio music.
I
is
learned
what-
that
But
today.
I'm just like, there's some symbolism here about like not being polished or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, I'm just gonna wrap this up. So May the 4th.
May the 4th.
May the 4th be
Star
with you.
Wars
It's a
Day,
Star
right?
Wars Day. Is it an official Star Wars holiday in the Lord? No. It's just, instead of saying May the Force be with you, it's May the 4th. And a lot of Star Wars fans have used it to make it Star Wars Day.
Yeah.
So the DoD posted 100 of their accomplishments to the sound of Star Wars music.
Cool.
Cool, whatever.
So cool.
Yeah.
But the White House posted this picture, which is what?
Fuck. It's
Oh
so
my
crazy.
God.
So it says, Happy May the 4th to all, including the radical left lunatics who are fighting so hard to bring Sith Lords, murderers, drug dealers, dangerous prisoners, and well-known MS-13 gang members back into our galaxy. You are not the rebellion. You are the Empire. May the 4th be with you. But the thing is that the lightsaber that Donald Trump is holding, this jacked AI version of Donald
Yeah,
Trump,
like
Two eagles behind him.
We
Two
have to tell
eagles.
you guys, this Donald Trump is so jacked that his
so
arm
jacked.
muscles are bulging with veins. Like this guy is.
Is jacking off all the time. That's
Yeah.
how he gets his arm
and
like
he's
that.
wearing Jedi robes. But again, this is now I'm getting Star Wars nerdy. The lightsaber is red, and red equals bad.
Red
and
equals
red,
bad.
And red is the Sith, and the Sith is the Empire. And also, if you are watching season 2 of Andor, like I am,
Damn
you
right.
will know that they are ripping exactly from Nazi propaganda and making that the empire. So to say that like the leftists are the Nazi empire,
I mean,
like,
of course, it's crazy. I mean, the original Star Wars movies, George Lucas has gone on record to say that the empire is the United States, and the rebellion is the Viet Cong in Vietnam. I mean, you are not the rebellion or the empire is just something that people have been saying about Republicans for years. They just, it's like I'm rubber, you're glue level of rhetoric. They don't know how to invent their own insults. They just take and reflect back without thinking about what they're saying.
Yeah, it's just crazy for an official communications arm of the United States of America to say you are not the rebellion, you're the empire to anyone else.
Right, you are the president of the United States. The United States is currently still probably the #1 global superpower in the world. What do you mean?
Like, you're the empire.
You're the empire. There's no one else is the empire.
Yeah, the radical left. Guys, the Democrats don't even fuck with the left.
You're right.
So why are you talking about radical left?
Who
Anyway.
is radical left that is like making actual decisions right now?
Nobody.
Who? Not one.
I would respect this media person more if they had gotten Trump to act. If it was a real video of Trump doing his spiel, but it was about Sith Lords instead, I would at least be like, that's
Trump
a funny
hasn't
Instagram
watched
reel.
Fucking Star Wars.
Right, of course not.
Trump doesn't watch anything but porn. So here's the thing that's interesting, right? Is that Kaylin Dorr actually reposted this thing because it's the first 100 days, and he's talking about 100 days of breaking the internet, and it's a link to this article just basically saying like in the first 100 days, the White House social media account has gotten more than 2 billion impressions. And add that data to the 40 affiliate accounts and the number grows a lot. And basically they're having like all these new followers and all this engagement and blah, blah, blah. And this guy's bragging about it. But I'm like, you are putting shit to piss people off. You're posting it and then you are getting people pissed off and then people are responding to you. And then you're using that to brag that it's successful.
And also, like, you're a government fucking official. Like, it's like, this is like a conversation I would have at a party in Bushwick where it's like, yeah, man, my recent reel really broke 100,000 views. Yeah, my engagement's been kind of down lately, but I really think it's going to go up during Pride Month. I'm probably going to get booked on a few more bar shows. You run the White House comms. What are we, who cares?
You guys literally could take down your Instagram. It would mean nothing. You could do whatever
you are the
you
president.
Wanted. You're the president. You are literally the empire. You are the president of the United States. But it's this weird obsession that these people have with being good online, which is like why Elon Musk bought Twitter to ensure that people see his tweets. And it's kind of this same mentality. Like, they want to own people. They want to laugh in people's faces. They want their meme to get seen. Like, these things are of value to them. Right. He's definitely our most online president for someone who probably doesn't know how to
And J.D. Vance, our most online vice president by far. J.D. Vance was getting into Star Wars discourse yesterday about whether or not the prequels were good. I don't know if you saw.
Oh, no. I can't.
He said they were underrated.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he said the prequels were good. Interesting.
Yeah. He's also really anti The Last Jedi, which is, I think that should be disqualified. Having an opinion about The Last Jedi at all, I think should disqualify you from being the vice president.
Okay. Well, speaking of Ragebait.
Oh, good.
We are going to move on now to our final segment. This is our segment called Grasshole of the Week. Ella, this is where we declare the person, people, places, things that need to log off the most. And we are pivoting hard. Today, we are talking about the caveman skincare girl on TikTok.
Oh, no.
So before we even get into this, do you two find yourself susceptible to skincare trends online at all? I've already said on this podcast that I very much am. I was putting Vaseline on my face for a little while.
Yeah, I feel like if somebody says something works, and it looks good, I'm going to try it if somebody's struggling with the same thing.
I am so luckily exempt because I am too lazy to really have any kind of skincare routine at all. I sometimes look and I go, wow, I wish I had the time and energy to do anything.
Doesn't take as long as you think, Ella.
I believe you, and one day I will put the effort into building a very light routine.
Well, honestly, Ella, maybe you don't have to, okay? Because today I'm going to introduce you to 22-year-old influencer Tia Zucker. She has 131.1 thousand followers on TikTok, and if we take a look at this next slide, she has announced that starting in mid-April, she announced that she would be following the caveman method for skincare, i.e. that she stopped using anything on her face She stopped using anything on her face in March. She made the announcement in April. That includes soap and water.
Oh.
This
that's when I say I don't do anything. I'm using soap. I'm bathing. I
This
promise I'm
includes
bathing.
soap and water.
No, you can't take it back. Her ass is nasty.
I will say I haven't found any evidence of her calling it the caveman skincare method, but that's what everyone else has dubbed it.
She looks horrible.
Yeah, so why don't we describe what we're looking at here? This is the first post that she posted, like kind of announcing that she's doing this.
Oh.
It says, after 8 years of picking and over-exfoliating, I'm healing my skin barrier by doing the one thing I never tried before. Absolutely nothing. Can you describe the quality of the skin on her face?
I just say, like, it looks like the surface of the moon. Like,
Yeah.
it's like just very, like, you could just tell it's all dead skin and all this shit and like
Crusty.
crusty and
She looks like she's a 10th grade theater kid who just figured out what stage makeup is and has put
Yeah.
on about 10 times as much foundation as she needs to.
Yeah.
And then has done a whole show. And so now it's sort of like it's flaking off.
Yeah. Yes.
I feel like if I
stop talking about the
if I, like,
Jimmys for 1 second.
she looks like a
The
Jimmy
Jimmys would never
Award
allow that.
contestant. I feel like if I like scraped down her forehead with my fingernail, like an inch of gunk would come
there would
off.
be gunk. So I will say to everyone, we do always put any relevant photos on our Instagram account the
my
day of the
God.
episode. You might want to take a look at these, but maybe not while you're eating lunch,
No.
because
Ugh.
was putting together this episode and I was getting really grossed out.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you're probably wondering, why would someone do this? Let's actually hear in Tia's own words in this next video.
What you're seeing is dead skin that's going to flake off eventually while like new healthy skin forms underneath. Like there's already some patches where you could see that new skin. I've basically stopped all skincare, not using any water, and I'm just letting my barrier rebuild itself naturally. But yeah, for years I picked and over exfoliated and damaged my skin really badly. So it's just going to take time. My skin is basically just shedding all the damage and attempting to re-regulate itself.
It's amazing to me the stuff people can convince themselves is science. Like, lady, if people's skin was supposed to look like that, it would.
I want to be sympathetic to like everyone has their own skin stuff, their own health stuff. Maybe what she's doing now is fine, and it's the things she was doing before that like really fucked her skin up. But you don't gotta post through it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, that's the difficulty is also if this was an instance of her having some kind of very hyper-specific skin situation that was going on that required this, it's different than her kind of presenting it as like general advice that anyone could do to
Right.
reset their skin is not get even water on your face. I'm like, you're not getting water on your
You
face in the
have
shower?
to feel the rain on your skin.
Right.
Yeah. that's
No
the-
one else
that's
can
the-
feel it for you.
Yeah. Only you can let it in.
But she's not.
But that's the thing too. It's like, so you were doing a lot and the response is to do nothing. It's just reminding me it's giving anti-vax.
Yeah.
It's giving
The raw milk.
the raw
Yeah.
milk of it all. And it's like, actually, you can scale it backward. Like, actually, most dermatologists will say you should just wash your face and use moisturizer.
Right.
Yeah.
That's like
Yeah.
it. You gotta wash your face.
I mean, there are plenty of reasons to scale back a skincare
Yeah.
routine, but to say no water and also to develop what is clearly a layer of crust all over your entire face and say, no, this is correct. This is the way it's supposed to be. Very disturbing stuff. So obviously this goes insanely viral. She makes this announcement. She posts the picture I showed you with her face, and then she has this reply talking about why she had stopped washing her face. The initial image that I showed you guys has 9.8 million views. The
God.
video we just watched has 10.3 million views. She's got another update with 13.5 million views. Basically, anything that she does that directly references this is getting anything in like the 10 million plus view range, whereas her other videos will get maybe 1 million. And I feel like that's a boost in general from people who are trying to see the
Right.
situation.
So
with-
now she's incentivized to keep doing this.
Exactly. So I did want to
Disgusting.
ask, Ella, would you stop washing your face and develop a crusty outer layer to get 13.5 million views for going down?
You know, when you put it like that,
I know, I'm
13.5
like-
million views is like a lot of views.
I know. When I'm thinking about what our YouTube can make, if we both got 13.5 million views.
13.5
We gotta
million on a
live in the
YouTube
world.
video.
Don't you have a partner?
Right.
Like,
Yeah, my
we
girlfriend
have-
would be pretty upset with me.
Yeah.
She's upset
Yeah.
with me now when I do things for views, like have an opinion on Twitter, like let
Yeah.
alone. Yeah, maybe the answer is no. It's tempting.
You
but,
thought about it a
but
little bit
I-
longer than
yeah.
you probably
Yeah.
should have.
but no,
13.5 million. It's
I
good.
think I want to wash my face.
I know. I do think at the end of the day, I want to wash my face, and I want.
I sort of want to
not.
wash my face right now.
I know.
having
Watching
seen-
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So, okay, this is from People Magazine because yes, she did do an interview in People. We'll put a pin in that. The caveman-inspired trend was something she experimented with in the past, but she fully committed to a zero-maintenance lifestyle earlier this year to regenerate her skin, which has gradually taken on a textured, discolored appearance that has caused alarm among millions of TikTok users, many of whom have gone as far as diagnosing Zucker's skin condition upon a glance. So that brings us to phase 1 of the discourse is people being like, oh my God, this is scary. Phase 2, now the TikTok dermatologists
Or like
are weighing.
you are unwell.
Exactly. So I watched so many videos that are just a dermatologist that starts with, so many of you guys have been tagging me in the comments. So here's one such video.
Hi, my name is Dr. Rubin. I'm a board-certified allergist. I've been tagged many times in her videos asking my personal opinion, and I'm not her doctor. I can't give you specific medical advice over social media, but what I can say is that this caveman method that she talks about where you do nothing to your skin is not generally recommended for most people. If you do not do anything to your skin, you don't clean it or anything, you could increase the risk of developing something called dermatosis neglecta. That's essentially where you get this buildup of dead skin cells, oils, bacteria, and potentially fungus that causes this greenish yellow plaque that sits on your skin. And if you take isopropyl alcohol or a mild soap and are able to wash that off, it'll get rid of that type of debris. Now, in my field in allergy, sometimes we have to tell patients if we're not sure what is causing a rash on their skin to stop using the skincare products that they're using and then use a mild soap or cleanser and potentially some topical medicines to calm down what is going on. And if we don't have access to things like patch testing, we may have to methodically figure out what are the potential substances that could be causing those issues. And we have to kind of hit a reset button. But I never tell people stop doing every single thing and don't even wash your face, because that could end up leading to that dermatosis neglecta.
Fuck.
Yeah. So a bunch of dermatologists came on.
And so she got dermatosis neglect.
Yeah, to say this dermatosis neglecta, which is something that you'll often see in like people experiencing homelessness for long periods of
Yeah,
time.
for sure.
Yeah, like people who actually can't wash their face because of some sort of circumstance. But she's trying to say my skin's actually fine. It's just a little dry.
She's wrong.
Yeah,
No.
she's wrong. So this starts going around. Everyone's going like, oh my God, she actually has a fungal infection. Her face is this, her face is that. Meanwhile, our girl Tia is still posting away. If you go to this next slide, that's her 7-week update.
Oh
the
my God, she
layers.
ran a fucking race.
She ran a
Church
fucking
fungal
marathon.
infection.
Oh my God, her being from Montreal explains it though.
Yeah, she is Canadian. So yeah, we've got the 7-week update on one side, and then she's running a marathon in this other picture, and you can see that the search term that pops up for this is fungal infection. So it's just so crazy to imagine sweating and running a race, and then also
And you're not gonna wash.
Oh my
'cause I'm
God.
like, you're gonna shower after that.
that's
So
what
it's
I'm
like
wondering.
you're not washing your face. You're not gonna wash your hair. Like, so you're washing everything, but you're not washing your face.
I
She
know, I'm
looks
like,
like
I
she
want-
took a mud bath. She looks so unwell.
So that is a very interesting point, Ella, because that brings us to the final phase of this discourse, which people start asking, is this rage bait?
Oh, fuck. Did I get
Is
got?
this real? Here's the thing. I'm going to tell you right now, we do not know the answer to this question as of yet. She is
You set this
proceeding.
up as rage bait, and then I immediately got baited. I'm full of rage.
She's proceeding as if it is real, but many people are saying, you know what? This could just be one of those clay skincare masks. I use the Aztec clay mask all the time. It does kind of look like this. And other people are
But
saying,
she ran a race in it. That's crazy.
yeah. That is one thing that, depending on how sweaty you get, I feel like the Aztec clay mask would start falling off. But if I'm examining this picture, it does seem like it's clumpy in a new way.
Or it could be a fake pic. She could have
Could-
just staged
She could, I mean, this it could be anything.
This is probably a TikTok, though. It's live. I see.
So people are now going back and forth being like, well, because she's Canadian, she can't make money off the creator fund. So what's the benefit of this? But then other people are like, you can get brand deals. A skincare company could like want to partner with her because if that skincare company fixes her skin.
You just troll for the love of the game.
Right, exactly. And also, we live in an attention economy, baby. 13 million views. You're going to find a way to make money off that.
That's dopamine.
Right? It's like, that's just
You know
for the
what
heart.
This is reminding me of our friend who pretended to be Amish for views.
Yes.
There's a girl who would lie to the internet about being Amish.
Yes, friend not in terms of that we
No,
actually
we don't know her,
but
yeah.
Or perhaps
we did
our acquaintance and collaborator who pretended to go to jail for.
And we have a Patreon episode on that.
We have a Patreon episode on that because Millie got harassed.
Oh, I saw your quote. I saw your quote in New York Mag.
It's in our Patreon and it's behind a $10 paywall, but somebody did lie to go to jail, and the story ended with he did spend a night.
Good. Honestly, you know what? Good for him. Yes. Whatever.
And so who knows? Maybe this story will end with she actually does have a horrible rash.
Dermatologia neglecta is giving vagina dentata.
Yes, it really
You're right.
is.
Yeah.
It really,
so
really
funny.
is. I do love when some medical terms are so
Not
there's no
like
way
them.
I could possibly understand what this is referring to. And then dermatitis neglecta, I'm like, oh, so that's from
Yeah,
not
yeah.
washing your face
Yeah,
for
yeah.
a really long time.
Yeah.
So where does this stand now? Like I said, she did do this interview in People that came out yesterday. So it'll have come out 3 days ago for the people listening to this. She clarified she does not have a fungal infection, but she has experienced some dryness, which I think we can see here. She says she has a dermatologist who is a family friend that totally supports what she's doing.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Cool.
Lying.
Some of the discourse has gotten to her. She has started rinsing her face with water, and she may introduce moisturizer soon. Other than that, she says her skin is doing amazing.
You're not going to do soap, though, first?
No, just water.
Soap.
Just water.
Very
soap.
upsetting.
It's very upsetting. And so we must say to Tia Zakar, whether this is real or not, if it's not real, doing this and making yourself look nasty and having clumpy, crazy skin for views, that's a go touch grass.
Yeah.
And if it is real, it's a go touch grass because, lady, why are you documenting your gross, nasty face? Like, if you are gonna show up at the end of this as a beautiful swan, just do this in private and then do the full
And then show up
video
as a beautiful swan.
As a beautiful swan, say, this was me for months. I didn't wash my face and look, it worked. I'm glowing now. But this 7-week update, all of this stuff, only for maybe your skin to be worse off and or neutral at the end. We have to say, Tia Zakar,
go touch grass. And that's our show.
That's our show. Ella, you were an amazing guest.
Amazing
I'm
guest.
so glad to be here. You guys are amazing hosts.
We love you. We love going down. We love all of it.
We love going down.
Jesus.
It's a good name.
Mm-hmm. Ella, for our listeners who now want to be going down on you.
Yeah. Everyone goes down on you.
Everyone loves going down on with nearby Ella.
Yes.
Where can they find you, the show, and all things Ella, all things going down? Where can they find it?
You can find me. I'm Ella Yurman, ELLAYURMAN on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Blue Sky. I just found out there's an r/Ella Yurman Reddit. I'm not involved in that, but it exists.
Okay, that's huge. And it's not snark. It's not Ella Yurman snark.
It's not Ella Yurman snark.
Thank
It's
God.
like people being like,
What
why
is she
isn't Ella doing more reels?
Yeah.
And then you can find my show. We're Going Down Show on YouTube. We're Going Down the Show on YouTube. We're going down patreon.com/Going Down Show. Going Down TV on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok. Support us on Patreon. Check out the full videos on YouTube, and we post clips on Instagram all the time.
Beautiful. And guys, you can find kind of all those same things from us at Go Touch Grass Pod on everything.
Yeah.
YouTube, clips. You can find it all there.
And you can follow me at Millie_Tamaris on Instagram and TikTok. And you can follow me at Millie Tamaris on Twitter, Blue Sky, everything. I don't know.
I know. I'm Elise Navidad on TikTok and Pandalise on Instagram. And until next time,
go touch grass!
That was a HeadGum podcast. Hey, I'm Tony Hale.
I'm Matt Oberg.
And I'm Kristen Shaw.
And we're going to be hosting the new podcast, The Extraordinarians, where we are going to be interviewing extraordinary people doing extraordinary things that we have never and probably will never do.
We talk to people who have broken records on slackline suspended by hot air balloons.
Yep.
We're talking to people who have done multiple flips on trampolines. You'll have to tune in to find out how many flips they did.
Subscribe to Extraordinarians on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And watch
God. In 3,
watch it on the YouTube. There's new episodes that we release it every Wednesday.
We do.
I've never seen you cry before.
I know.
I don't know how I
this
feel
is upsetting
about it.
for all of us.
They don't let us break for lunch.
They do.
The podcast is so competitive, they make you just talk and talk.
Guys, we're watching a spin out.
Please subscribe.
Oh, man.
Extraordinarians.
Hi, I'm Rachel Bilson.
And I'm Olivia Allen.
And we host the podcast
Broad Ideas.
Yes, that's now on HeadGum. On our show, we chat with people like Brittany Snow, Lucy Hale, Kristen Bell, Margaret Cho, Jake Johnson, and so much more.
And we talk about all the things you would talk about with your best friend.
Like your periods.
And mental illness.
And the food you ate for lunch.
Most importantly.
Listen to Broad Ideas on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.